This video reveals the shocking truth why a predatory record deal turned $64 million in Quiet Riot album sales into only $60,000 in music royalties. So you understand the context of just how exploitative their record deal was. In a 1999 federal court case, lead singer Kevin Dubrow testified under oath that Quiet Riot had not received a single royalty check from Sony Music since 1986. He is on record in a court of law stating that after the mid-'80s, the band's royalty stream dropped to zero because their contract allowed the record label to swallow all profits to pay off hidden promotional debts. To understand why this disastrous predatory record deal happened, we first have to go back to when it all started. The year was 1983. Heavy metal wasn't dominating American radio yet, and many record executives still questioned whether the genre could ever become a true commercial force. Then, Quiet Riot released the album Metal Health. Powered by the success of two hit songs, Come On Feel the Noise and Metal Health Bang Your Head, the album became the first heavy metal record ever to reach #1 on the Billboard 200. It reportedly sold around 6 million copies in the United States alone. Using an average retail price of approximately $10.65 per album, that adds up to almost $64 million in retail sales. If you're unfamiliar with how the music business works, you might assume the band became overnight millionaires. Well, they didn't. One of the biggest misconceptions about the music business is believing album sales automatically become artist income. In reality, the money first flowed through a gauntlet of excessively greedy hands before Quiet Riot's royalty percentage was ever calculated. Take a look at this table I created. This is how the retail dollars were divided before Quiet Riot's royalties were even considered. Now we'll dive into where the Quiet Riot Metal Health record deal became truly predatory. You see, contrary to popular belief, Quiet Riot didn't receive a percentage of the $10.65 retail price that fans paid for the album in record stores. Instead, their royalty was calculated from the wholesale price, which was substantially lower. In the 1980s, major labels often sold top-tier LPs to sub-distributors and massive retail chains at roughly 61% of the retail price tag. For the Quiet Riot Metal Health album, this translates to a wholesale cost of $6.50 per record. Then, that wholesale figure was multiplied by the standard artist royalty rate between 12 and 14%. So, estimating a wholesale price of around $6.50 and an artist royalty rate on the low end of the range of about 12%, Quiet Riot earned only a measly 78 cents per album before any additional deductions. At first glance, $4.68 million sounds like a fortune, and it is. But this wasn't the amount Quiet Riot was about to receive. The biggest deductions were still waiting. This is the part of the record contract that many fans never see. On the surface, Quiet Riot was offered what looked like a generous record deal. The label agreed to pay for their recording sessions, producers, artwork, manufacturing, marketing, music videos, tour support, radio promotion, shipping, and distribution. But almost none of those expenses were actually gifts. The reason comes down to how traditional major record labels' recording contracts were structured during the early 1980s. You see, these record labels' contracts were more like bank loan contracts than recording contracts. The agreement to pay the band's upfront expenses was actually a loan agreement, also known as an advance in industry jargon. Every dollar the label spent was placed onto the band's account and had to be earned back before meaningful royalty payments would ever begin. This system is known as recoupment, and it has been one of the defining financial features of the record business for decades. Using a standard 1980s album financial model for a brand new, previously unsigned artist, the expenses for the Quiet Riot album Metal Health are estimated to look something like what you see in this table that I created. Professional studios, experienced producers required substantial investment. The estimated cost to Quiet Riot for these expenses was about $400,000 combined. Then came music videos. MTV had been one of the most powerful promotional tools in the music industry. It's estimated that the two videos released from the album, Come On Feel the Noise and Bang Your Head Mental Health, cost the band a combined $30,000 to make. Radio promotion required additional spending, collectively cost about $1.4 million for the Quiet Riot Mental Health album release. Tour support was money that the record label loaned Quiet Riot to stay on the road while promoting their album Mental Health. The $1.2 million covered everything from crew wages and truck rentals to fuel, hotels, and other miscellaneous touring expenses. Publicity and marketing covered the label's efforts to make the Mental Health album a commercial success. Now you can begin to see how quickly millions can become thousands. And those figures still represented only gross income, not final take-home pay. Unfortunately for the boys, there were still more hefty deductions ahead before they received their paychecks. From each band member's gross royalty share, it is estimated that the combined management commissions, attorney fees, business management costs, and taxes reduced their take-home pay by an additional 60%. Documented deductions from Quiet Riot's actual royalty statements are not publicly available information. However, using representative music industry percentages, I estimate each member's finances look like this. According to multiple interviews over the years, Kevin Dubrow claimed he personally received only about $60,000 in royalties from the Quiet Riot album Metal Health, despite the album's extraordinary commercial success. Furthermore, as he was the dominant songwriter on the album, this would mean that, in reality, the gross royalties and take-home pay for the other three band members were likely to be even less than the paltry sum estimated here.